Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Man's mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original dimensions. Education is not the filling of a pot but the lighting of a fire. Don't just teach your children to read. Teach them to question what they read. Teach them to question everything. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Change is the end result of all true learning. It is not from ourselves that we learn to be better than we are. Life is an open book test. Learning how to learn is your most valuable skill in the online world. The more I read, the more I acquire, the more certain I am that I know nothing. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Education is a progressive discovery of our own ignorance. I never learned from a man who agreed with me. He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. You don't understand anything until you learn it more than one way. Education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. By three methods we may learn wisdom: first, by reflection, which is noblest; second, by imitation, which is easiest; and third, by experience, which is the bitterest. What sculpture is to a block of marble, education is to the human soul. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. A well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers. Everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't. Take what you learn and make a difference with it. Your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. Don't make up your mind. Knowing is the end of learning. If someone is going down the wrong road, he doesn't need motivation to speed him up. What he needs is education to turn him around. To me, education is a leading out of what is already there in the pupil's soul. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. Never stop learning. Never stop growing. Education would be much more effective if its purpose was to ensure that by the time they leave school every boy and girl should know how much they do not know, and be imbued with a lifelong desire to know it. Being ignorant is not so much a shame, as being unwilling to learn. Education is the ability to meet life situations. The more you learn, the more you earn. Anyone who isn't embarrassed of who they were last year probably isn't learning enough. Learning starts with failure. The first failure is the beginning of education. All the world is a laboratory to the inquiring mind. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Nothing is a waste of time if you use the experience wisely. The whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows. Try to learn something about everything and everything about. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. We learn more by looking for the answer to a question and not finding it than we do from learning the answer itself. That which we persist in doing becomes easier for us to do, not that the nature of the thing itself is changed, but that our power to do is increased. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. 9/10 of education is encouragement. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. The first half of my life I went to school, the second half of my life I got an education. Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself. The human mind is our fundamental resource. The best teachers are those who show you where to look but don't tell you what to see. I am learning all the time. The tombstone will be my diploma. If you are planning for a year, sow rice. If you are planning for a decade, plant trees. If you are planning for a lifetime, educate people. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. I believe that education is all about being excited about something. Seeing passion and enthusiasm helps push an educational message. The great aim of education is not knowledge but action. Education makes a people easy to lead but difficult to drive, easy to govern, but impossible to enslave. The only person who is educated is the one who has learned how to learn and change. Persistent questioning and healthy inquisitiveness are the first requisite for acquiring learning of any kind. Education without values, as useful as it is, seems rather to make man a more clever devil. A teacher is one who makes himself progressively unnecessary. They know enough who know how to learn. Recipes tell you nothing. Learning techniques is the key. People learn something every day, and a lot of times it's that what they learned the day before was wrong. Learning is not attained by chance, it must be sought for with ardor and attended to with diligence. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Never let formal education get in the way of your learning. You don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn by doing, and by falling over. If the only tool you have is a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail. Too often we give children answers to remember rather than problems to solve. You will either step forward into growth, or you will step backward into safety. Always walk through life as if you have something new to learn, and you will. Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress, in every society, in every family. Learning is synthesizing seemingly divergent ideas and data. He who opens a school door, closes a prison. Learning is like rowing upstream, not to advance is to drop back. It is impossible to begin to learn that which one thinks one already knows. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. You can teach a student a lesson for a day, but if you can teach him to learn by creating curiosity, he will continue the learning process as long as he lives. I am always doing that which I cannot do, in order that I may learn how to do it. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. Yesterday I was clever, so I changed the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. It is as impossible to withhold education from the receptive mind as it is impossible to force it upon the unreasoning. The more I live, the more I learn. The more I learn, the more I realize, the less I know. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and world better than you found it. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. When you learn, teach. When you get, give. You are always a student, never a master. You have to keep moving forward. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. Any book that helps a child to form a habit of reading, to make reading one of his deep and continuing needs, is good for him. Education is a continual process, it's like a bicycle. If you don't pedal, you don't go forward. Every student can learn, just not on the same day, or the same way. Education is not preparation for life, education is life itself. Study without desire spoils the memory, and it retains nothing that it takes in. Man can learn nothing except by going from the known to the unknown.